Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh yeah. Please not. Create.
Good Tuesday morning. Your time right now is 10 o'clock, and thank you for watching Live Impact News here on 13 News Now. Plus, we have a great show, jam-packed, ready for you today. And you know what? It's also a good day to give. We have an awesome opportunity for all of our viewers today to participate in our Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive. We have anchor Ashley Smith, who's out there in Virginia Beach at the Pembroke Square parking lot there, as we are collecting canned goods, non-perishable foods to help people within our community, along with our partner Odyssey this morning. Ashley, I see you're all smiles. Hopefully people have been stopping by and dropping off some goods.
Yeah, Eugene, I mean, all morning long. So I've been out here since we started at 8 o'clock this morning. And, I mean, the momentum has just picked up so very well out here for the Neighbors Helping Neighbors food. I mean, take a look around. You can kind of get a sense of the donations that we've gotten so far. But I have to tell you, you're only going to see a bit of what we've been able to see out here all morning long, because people have just been constantly coming through. So you have, the food bank folks over here who've been sorting the donations. You have our folks from Odyssey. Now we are partnering with them for the Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive. They've been out here. We're going to talk to some of the Odyssey folks here in just a moment. But first, I want to come over here. Good morning, y'all. Can I bother y'all for a bit? Good morning. So I wanted to pop over here because you came out this morning and you wanted to make a donation. Can you tell me who you are, why you decided to come out?
You want to, or I will. Stephen makes Bluebird houses with Bluebird Beach bungalows and donates everything for charity. And our holiday charity is the food bank this year. So we were just doing some photo ops and donating food too. But so all of our money, 100% goes to the charity.
Oh
so
my! Can we look at this?
Yeah.
This
and
is
he
so
and his
nice.
friends make them, and they are sold at Sugar Plum Bakery and a couple other places. So they just bring us joy.
This is beautiful. Can I see the inside of the box? I just wanted to take a little bit. This is one of the just incredible people that have come out here to donate, the items, yes, but of their time, thinking of other people this morning for the Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive. Thank y'all for coming out today. Thank you for what you do. Now we gotta get our picture here in just a moment, so don't leave. But we're gonna make some rounds and I'm gonna come back to you guys, okay? Okay. So nice to meet y'all. Thank y'all again so much. Can you tell it's warmed up out here a little bit?
I
We were
can.
talking before about how cold it was in the morning, when we were in the studio, Eugene. But now it's like it's just warm. The vibe out here, the feeling out here is so warm. Here are some of our volunteers. I mean, Eugene, they have been working so very hard this morning. I mean, constantly boxing up these boxes as these donations have rolled in. And it's been a pretty steady stream of vehicles. Now, of course, we're out here until 6 p.m., but I mean, you can come out anytime, whenever you're able to make your donations. We need non-perishable items. And there are so many different types of things that you can donate, which is what I love. If you check your pantry and you have some items perhaps that you don't think you're going to use, and the best by or use by date is not within 6 months, go ahead and pack it up. Grab a bag and bring it out. I mean, and we need everything, baby products, formula and diapers. We need canned fruit and canned veggies. We need canned protein. So you think about like chicken and tuna and things like that. We need whole wheat products. So we're talking about pasta and cereal, hygiene products. There are so many different ways that you can give today. And again, just take a look at this massive truck that we've got out here. It rolled up about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning just to take all of the donations. So there is no way we can outgive today. We've got the entire truck space, but this pallet here is already full just about. So it looks like we're going to be packing that up, putting that on the truck here in just a bit. But we've got another pallet. We've got plenty of other pallets. We've got plenty of space here to collect all of your donations this morning and into the afternoon. Again, we're here until 6 o'clock. And thank you to all of our volunteers who have been working tirelessly this morning. I mean, they have been out here since before the drive started, just making sure that the boxes were ready, getting them sorted and taken care of. And they brought out donations as well. We were able to see a good amount of donations even before the food drive started at 8 o'clock. So that was really cool. All right, but I mentioned, though, we've got some Odyssey folks here, some radio folks. You're gonna recognize the voices, but sometimes you don't get to see their faces. You just hear the melodies on the radio. So I want to introduce you to some people that you'll know, of course, but again, just putting faces to these incredible Good morning. I'm coming over here.
How's it going?
Good morning. Okay, so we're all friends. We've all been friends for a long time.
Way back.
Yes, but I'm gonna have everybody to introduce themselves so that way you can put faces to names, faces to voices, starting with the big guy. We'll start right here.
Hey, I'm Don London from 2WD. We'd love for you to donate today here at Pembroke Square. Come on out. We're here till 8 o'clock. Is that right? 7 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay,
but
great.
hey, listen, if you want to donate and you can't make it by 6, scan the QR code on your screen, because that way you can make an online donation and we can still make sure that you're helping families in need. So thank you very much.
Such a great
to
cause.
see
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
This is great.
Who is this?
I am your former radio partner for a week, remember? Hi, I'm Mike Powers, Mike and Woo in the morning on The Point. And I have to ask a big question.
Yes.
Lucky Charms or Captain Crunchberries? Which one would you go with?
choice.
This is a tough choice.
You tell Mike
Because
it's
a tough choice,
absolutely
I'm
the
gonna
Lucky
pass this
Charms.
to Eugene. Eugene, which one?
Lucky Charms.
He says Lucky Charms.
It's not
Lucky
close.
Charms. He's a Lucky Charms guy. He said they're magically delicious.
Just saying, thank you so much for the donations. These are a lot of fun, too, and there's a lot of other healthy stuff, too. So there we go. You guys are doing it all. Thank you.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right, who do we have here, lovely lady? Hi.
Hey, girl, hey. It's Teresa Brown from 95.7 R&B, smooth R&B from yesterday and today. Come out and please make a donation. Everything counts.
Absolutely.
Everything counts.
Yes, and thank you. I saw you with your bags this
Okay,
morning.
man, it's important to give back. Yes, always. Therefore, when you have opportunity, give back. Yes.
And you know, Teresa does so much in the community, so it was just great to see her beautiful face. Hey, and speaking of beauty, hey, girl, hey.
Last but not least.
Stop it.
Yes, how's it going?
Love it.
Woo Woo from 94.9 The Point. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for doing this. And what a beautiful day to come out and donate.
Seriously. I mean, didn't it kind of warm up a little bit? Am I the only
Yes,
one?
I know. I need to take this giant puffer jacket off. But yeah, we are so happy to team up with you guys. You're always helping the community, and it's a joy to be out here and be a part of it.
Thank you. And right back at you guys. I mean, we're partners in all of this. It's so great to be able to see them. I know it's been a little while for me and them, but it's just wonderful to be partners with Odyssey in this wonderful, wonderful food drive. And again, we're out here until 6 p.m. If you can make your way, we're going to be here. Make sure you check us out. If you can't, again, that QR code is right there on your screen. You can make an online donation. And we were saying before, listen, there are a lot of people who are in need this holiday season, probably more than, ever, at least in a really, really long time. Eugene, we've been talking about the government shutdown, the temporary loss of SNAP benefits. And there are some people who are saying, well, that's done, right? Like everybody's getting back to work, they're getting paychecks, they're getting benefits, but it's the ripple effect. We had the chance to talk to the food bank earlier, and they have been seeing so many people that they've never seen before. So many employees that have been able to take care of their families, been able to do what they need to do. Now they're having to turn to the food bank because they cannot make ends meet. This is still going on in our community. Even though we're getting back into the swing of things, it's still going to be a long time before people are back to normal in their households. So any donation that you can make is going to be a tremendous blessing. Eugene, I was talking earlier with Craig, and we were so grateful for one of the bigger donations coming from Rudder Mills Law Firm. They came out and they gave $2,500, which was incredible. It's going to help so many people. But, right, isn't that wonderful? But maybe, look, a lot of us aren't able to stroke a check for $2,500, and that is okay, because these boxes are filled with donations from people that cost $1, it costs $10, maybe cost $15 or $20, and it's going to feed a family. It's going to change their lives. That's what you're seeing here, right? You're seeing the big donations, you're seeing the big boxes all sorted out, but then you're also just seeing people helping people and neighbors helping neighbors, and that's why we're here today.
You mentioned it, Ashley, too, about the timing, right? We know today, big news for a lot of people in Virginia that those SNAP benefits for November have now kicked back in. The governor announcing that yesterday. But even if you got your SNAP benefits officially, even if you have been paid back from the amount of time you were furloughed, if you were a federal worker, as you said, it's still going to take a little bit of time for you to get back into your financial bearings because of everything. And I think that's what you were talking about in speaking with someone from the food bank. Have you been able to speak with anybody who was stopped by to give some food today as to what kind of motivated them to come out this morning?
So, yeah, actually we talked to a few folks, and, it was a little bit off camera too, but just some people who were so moved, not just by the need. I'll say this, Eugene, with regard to the shutdown and SNAP benefits, because that's obviously a huge need, right? But then we've been talking as well, you and I and our folks here at 13 News Now, we've been talking about how even before the shutdown, there have been so many people that have been quietly struggling. And we've been trying to emphasize that point, that it's not just those who openly are having a tough time. They've been missing paychecks, trying to make ends meet. It's not just those people. It really is your neighbor. It is single parents, it is minimum wage employees, it is people impacted by inflation. A lot has been going on even outside of the shutdown and the loss of benefits. And I think that touched a few people that came out here to say, you know what? I could be working beside someone, I could be living beside someone, I could be standing beside someone in a line somewhere, and I have no idea what they're going through. And that's why they brought this out. It's not necessarily just to help people get back on their feet from the shutdown, which is important, but also just to help people get back on their feet in general. And I love that. I love the fact that here in the 757, we just show love. And this is how we do it. We do it by rolling through and giving of our time, giving what we can from the bottom of our hearts. It truly makes a difference. And that's what we've seen here today. We've got somebody else who's rolling through right now, dropping off some donations. And it's been just this steady line, Eugene, all morning long of people saying, look, I'm going to do what I can. And I think that's what it's all about, because when you do what you can and I do what I can, it's going to make a tremendous difference in the lives of so many families. We may not see it, we may not be able to hand it to them directly, but to know that the food bank has got this, they are working hard to make sure that these families are taken care of. That's what it's all about. So I think that's been even a gift for me, Eugene, is just to see people who are saying, like, I don't necessarily know what the need is, and I don't need to know. All I know is that I can make a difference, and that's what I'm going to do here today.
I think you said it so well there, Ashley, right? You never know. It could be you. And I think a lot of families found themselves in that situation, whether it was the government shutdown or just the economy, in which has created some issues for folks as well recently, definitely around this holiday season. So I'm glad to hear that we have a consistent trickle of people who are coming in to give. Again, if you have not done so, if you're thinking, I'm out there, maybe I can drop by, you can do so anytime until 6 p.m. They're going to be right there in that Pembroke Square parking lot where you see all that activity happening, where Ashley and all the gang, they are out there having a good time, giving back. It doesn't seem like it's too cold for them out there, too, which is great. The sun is certainly shining, and you see the goods that are starting to come in, those non-perishable items. Please, if you have them, drop them off. But, hey, if you can't make it out there, it's okay. You heard Ashley talk about a QR code. She kept mentioning that. This is it. All right, you can scan this QR code from anywhere you are right now with your phone, and you can give a donation that will go towards helping people in our community who could just use a little extra support this time of year. You never know, it could be you the next time, and somebody will give it back forward to help you and your family. So again, all the way through 6 p.m., you can scan that donation QR code right there to give online if you can't make it. But if you can, I have a feeling Ashley and our meteorologist Craig Moeller's out there, reporter Jemiah Beatty's out there, plenty of our 13 News Now staff. They'll be happy to meet you, happy to see you, happy to take those donations. And Ashley, I don't know how long you're staying out there, but I imagine at least through the noon.
Yes, at least to the noon. No, I'll be here probably till about 1 o'clock. And as you mentioned, Craig is on his way out here, I believe. So we should see him here in just a few minutes. Jemiah has been out here all morning long. And we've got some of the other 13 News Now folks out here as well. You can see, I think Michael's going to pan over to some of our 13 News Now folks. Our lovely news director, Tiara Schultz, over there grabbing boxes, and Leah Petway also working really hard.
I saw her working
things.
hard.
That's our
Don't tell her she's on TV.
And, let me tell you. Yeah, don't tell her. No, it's candid shots. I mean, but she, and her heart. I mean, she's just incredible. Megan Ty, also with 13 News Now, grabbing, donations. And just look at the team, though. Look at 13 News Now working with Odyssey to make this thing happen. Mike out here. It's just so wonderful to see everyone coming together for this cause, Eugene. So again, we'll be out here, and I know that Tim Pandages and Janet Roach are coming out here a little bit later on, maybe switching out with Craig and I a little bit later on this afternoon into the evening. So you'll get a chance to see them for the folks that are able to come through as well. But again, it's just a team effort, man. Like it's so awesome to see the community's heart in this way, and all of these people who have taken the day to say, you know what, there's somebody that I can help, and that's what I'm going to do today. So that's what you're seeing here. And again, we're out here until 6 p.m. But Eugene, as you mentioned, also donating online, that's going to make a difference too. So do whatever you can.
We love to see it. We love to see the activity, as it looks like another donation just dropped off there. That is what we want to see today. Okay, so if you can, go on, drive out, drop off some goods. Maybe you can stop by the store and bring it on. And if you can't, remember, we do have that QR code that you can easily access. Let's go ahead and put that up one more time for them, Sarah, so that people can see that. You heard Ashley say it. It is going to take our community to support our community, or as we are saying today, neighbors helping neighbors as we feed people in Hampton Roads. All right, Ashley, I'll let you go and do some work, man. Pick up a bag and a box. Do something. Just walking around there talking to people. And, of course, we'll come back in the next hour, and we'll try to bring in Jemiah and some other folks there. So, Ashley, go ahead. Get your hands dirty. Don't just sit around there. You can do something.
Thanks, Eugene. Appreciate it.
All right, Ashley.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who has already given and is planning to give, and or maybe you've used the QR code so far this morning. Again, we are really trying to push this to help our community anyway. People who are affected by the government shutdown, who are affected by the temporary loss of SNAP benefits, who are affected by just food insecurity in general. It does not matter if you are someone who is experiencing a bit of hardship. We're trying to rally behind and help you this morning, and so are several people in our community. So we're going to keep reminding you of that throughout the day, not only on our stream here, but also on our other platforms and newscasts throughout the day. Okay, we do have a very busy news day that is taking place right now. Today, we are expecting to get a vote on the release of all files in the Jeffrey Epstein case. That is happening today. We're hearing from survivors, lawmakers, advocates in that push. But also, as we speak right now, the National Transportation Safety Board is preparing to vote on its findings into what caused a container ship to crash into Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge, killing 6 construction workers. You remember that. It happened more than a year and a half ago in March of last year. And now it is expected to cost Maryland more than $4 billion to replace. It's more than double the original expected cost. Today's vote expected to include probable cause, safety recommendations, and any changes to a previous report that was found by the NTSB. As you're looking at the video from when that crash took place, that absolutely devastated so many people, not only from looking at it, the emotion and knowing that there were 6 individuals who died that day, but the ability to transport goods absolutely was impacted there in Maryland and abroad there for their port activity within the state for several months, and travel, of course, being impacted there, as that was a heavily traveled bridge for people to be able to commute. So right now, again, the NTSB is holding a hearing in which they are expected to vote. Let's see if we can take that here where they are right now in this particular meeting and listen to it at least for a little bit. We'll come back. We got more news that's happening in Washington, D.C.
Due to their reduced maneuverability and restricted waterways. The pilots had emergency shutdown protocol for the bridges in their waterway. The protocol was amended 23 days prior to the casualty. The active protocol instructed pilots to contact the Coast Guard as the single point emergency contact for shutting down bridges in the event of a potential strike. However, during the emergency, the former plan was followed. The senior pilot called his dispatcher, then the dispatcher called the MDTA and the Coast Guard. This system proved to be effective. Staff believes that the quick actions of the pilots, their dispatcher, and MDTA to stop bridge traffic prevented a greater loss of life from the bridge collapse. Staff proposes one recommendation to the Harbor Safety Committee's National Steering Team. I will now discuss safety management system aspects of this investigation. A safety management system, or SMS, is a systematic approach to managing safety, including the necessary organizational structures, accountabilities, policies, and procedures. An effective SMS can help organizations reduce and prevent accidents, the loss of lives, time, and resources. Proactive safety management, when done correctly, is predictive and designed to anticipate and address safety issues before they occur, and utilizes continuous data analysis to improve policies and procedures. In the maritime industry, the International Maritime Organization's International Safety Management Code, or ISM code, establishes the standard for safety management systems. The code prescribes 6 functional requirements. Under the code, vessel operators must define and document responsibilities and authorities relating to safety. They must develop detailed policies and procedures for key shipboard operations, including procedures for responding to emergencies and reporting accidents for all crew members to follow. Regular audits are required. In the aviation industry, the International Civil Aviation Organization established the framework for an aviation SMS. The 4 elements are: safety policy establishes senior management's commitment to continually improve safety and defines the methods and organizational structures needed to meet safety goals. Safety risk management determines the need for new or revised risk controls based on the assessment of acceptable risk. Safety assurance evaluates the continued effectiveness of risk control strategies and supports the identification of new hazards through data collection and analysis. Safety promotion includes training and communication regarding the SMS and other actions to create a positive safety culture within all levels of the workforce. When comparing the two models, some elements of the four-component aviation SMS framework are not included in the Maritime ISM code requirements. For example, safety risk management component of the aviation SMS code is a proactive obligation, while the ISM component for safety risk management is reactive. Proactive risk mitigation strategies in the SMS programs have been proven to increase safety by identifying hazards prior to their occurrence. The safety assurance element in the aviation model includes a change management model. The ISM model does not. Monitoring organizational change management helps mitigate risks by assessing how changes may affect safety. The safety promotion component in the aviation model includes the detailed communication and training requirements associated with implementing an SMS. The Maritime ISM model does not prescribe a formal means of safety communication. This means the ISM model does not require a model for how to communicate safety actions or changes in safety procedures. Because the ISM model does not specifically include this element, the possibility exists that mariners may not receive critical safety information. Staff found that the requirements of the ISM code includes some elements of a comprehensive proactive safety management system. However, the code does not fully encompass all four critical components of safety policy, safety risk management, safety assurance, and safety promotion. Staff has proposed one recommendation to the U.S. Coast Guard. This concludes my presentation. Mr. Payne will now discuss vessel voyage data recorder related findings.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn. This presentation will discuss issues related to the usage of voyage data recorders. A voyage data recorder, known as a VDR, is an electronic system installed on large vessels that continuously records navigational data, radar images, chart plotter information, basic engine operation, alarm statuses, bridge audio recordings, and VHF radio communications. A VDR is mainly three parts. A VDR cabinet, which is the VDR's main computer and storage system. It is inside the ship and contains at least 30 days of data. A VDR protective capsule is stored on the exterior of the vessel, which is designed to survive damage and sinking. It records a minimum of 48 hours of vessel data. Last, newer ships are required to have a float-free combination rescue beacon, which also functions as additional VDR storage. During the investigation, we encountered several problems that made it hard to extract and use the VDR data efficiently. Key issues included unrecorded data during the vessel's first underway blackout, the lack of recording of communications between the Dolly's bridge and the Dolly's engine room, the digitally destructive mixing of recorded bridge audio channels, inadequate VDR playback software, the inability to download the full data set on board the Dolly, and the complex workflow for processing proprietary VDR data in the common formats. Overall, current VDR performance standards don't fully address how required software should function for users who review the data, which creates delays to investigation and limits the usefulness of the VDR to make a timely impact on safety issues. VDR standards mandate that only bridge audio is to continue to be recording during a power loss. Under normal power, the VDR records information streams such as bridge microphone audio, the ship's engine and rudder operation, GPS position, AIS automatic identification information system, and chart plotter information. However, when the ship blacked out, only bridge audio was recorded. The other signals, like GPS position, we're still sending data, but their own requirements state that they must remain powered by their own batteries during a blackout. The VDR did not record these powered signals. As a result, investigators had to rely on other external shoreside data to plot the dolly's movements. When asked about this issue, the manufacturer of the VDR stated that, quote, "The other items are not recorded because they are not required to be recorded." During the accident, the dolly bridge and the dolly's engine room teams communicated via an internal telephone system that stayed powered during the blackout. The VDR did not record and was not required to record this communications line. Only the dolly bridge side of the conversation was captured by the microphones. Because the crew had survived, investigators were able to corroborate the details through crew interviews and these one-sided recordings.
You are listening there to the NTSB hearing taking place right now on that deadly bridge collapse that was caused by that container ship crashing into the Francis Scott Key Bridge more than a year and a half ago of March of last year. It killed 6 people. You were listening there a little bit to some of the findings before they take a vote today on the probable cause by this investigation. You can hear them talking about electrical issues. Remember, a part of what was determined is there was some form of electrical blackout on the ship, similar to what happened as it approached the bridge previously. That blackout, you see it losing light multiple times there before it crashed into that bridge. They believe that was a portion of the cause in the original investigation that may have led to this situation taking place. We will continue to monitor that. We'll have it in the background. But right now, I did tell you that a big day in the U.S. House as we are expecting a vote from lawmakers on the releasing of those Epstein files. Right now, House Majority Leader, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson is speaking there from a podium. We're just going to go straight to it and see if they're going to reference today's vote at all.
If Congress is not careful in what we're doing. And unlike our very important work that's underway in the House Oversight Committee, the Democrat-led discharge petition would carelessly dump thousands of documents without proper protections for the innocent. I brought a chart in here this morning. I want to illustrate for you what we are concerned with. Now, I was a federal court litigator. The members of our House Judiciary Committee, Republicans in particular, have many of these concerns. You have Chairman Jim Jordan and attorneys like Chip Roy, who's running for Attorney General of Texas now. You have Brad Knott, who's a former federal prosecutor, many members on the committee. Andy Biggs is running for governor of Arizona. They're lawyers, and they understand that the way the discharge petition was drafted is haphazard and dangerous. This is why we have been opposed to this point, okay? And I could be here for a long time going through all the details of it, but the big concern we've all had all along is that the House bill, if it's passed in its current form and it was signed into law, it is dangerously flawed. And our problem and our frustration is there's no way for us in the House to amend it or correct these problems because the authors of the discharge will not allow it. And that's one of our great frustrations. Let me just very quickly, we have a legal document that the lawyers, we have all drafted to explain all this, but let me give you five quick, maybe the top 5 concerns about it, and there are more. But as drafted, the discharge petition, it fails to fully protect victim privacy. I'm going to read you an excerpt out of our legal document we put together to explain all this. Congress should give the Attorney General broader authority to redact all the victim information. The discharge doesn't do that. This would prevent the release of information that could be used to unmask victims who have chosen to remain anonymous. Now, you have some very brave women who have come forward and put their names and faces out there and done press conferences and explained that justice is overdue, and our hearts go out to them, and they are heroes. But you have as many as 1,000 women, by some of the accounts, who may be caught up in this. And the vast majority of them have not come forward, probably for obvious reasons. They don't want to be unmasked. But the discharge petition doesn't have adequate protections. It risks re-victimizing those who were trafficked and exploited. And the courts have recognized this concern, by the way. I'll read you a quick excerpt. On August 20th of this year, Judge Richard Berman, of the Southern District of New York, issued an order denying the DOJ's request to release Epstein grand jury materials, noting, quote, names and identifying information of victims appear in the subject materials, unquote. Judge Berman then quoted a letter related to the victims' concerns, which stated the following, quote, transparency cannot come at the expense of the very people whom the justice system is sworn to protect, unquote. And importantly, the judge quoted a letter from one of the victims. In the proceedings, she is named as Jane Doe 2. She said this is one of the victims, quote, I beg the court to make sure it is of the utmost priority that in any sort of release, all and every detail that could possibly reveal our identities be redacted. The victims of Epstein's evils deserve that protection, and the discharge does not currently provide it. Okay? Number two, the discharge petition could create new victims, okay? Because it requires the DOJ to release information even in cases where the DOJ or the FBI has already reviewed it and determined it is not credible. It is false information. Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people, such as those who have may just have known Epstein but knew nothing of his crimes, or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims. Their names may be in these files, and they had nothing to do with this. And so by just haphazardly releasing it, you're going to destroy their reputations. Releasing information containing the names of innocent people would subject those innocent people to a guilt by association. It would create an entirely new group of victims who have no means to clear their names. That's a concern of Congress, and it should be. It should be. Number three, the discharge in its current form fails to prohibit the release of child sexual abuse materials. That is a term of art. It's called CSAM, okay? It's defined in the U.S. Code. The discharge is so haphazardly written because, remember, it's just a political exercise for these guys. They don't seem to care about this, but they cited the wrong section of the U.S. Code. So when they say that we don't want child pornography to come out, child sexual abuse materials, of course, we don't want that released. They wrote this thing so quickly that they cited the wrong section. So you know what that means? It means that it doesn't really bestow any real legal authority on the Attorney General to redact those materials. And that would compel the DOJ to release that stuff into the public. Every single person in this room knows that's wrong, and you should stand against it. But that's what the discharge says. Number four, it jeopardizes the future federal investigations of the United States. Why? Because the discharge only allows the Attorney General to redact limited portions of records that could publicly identify individuals who were promised confidentiality. In this scenario, you're talking about whistleblowers. You're talking about confidential informants who came forward and gave information and evidence in exchange for agreeing to have their identities not revealed. Violating confidentiality, imagine the chilling effect that would have on future investigations. Who's going to want to come forward if they think Congress can take a political exercise and reveal their identities? Who's going to come talk to prosecutors? It's very dangerous. It would deter future whistleblowers and informants. And the release of that could also publicly reveal the identity, by the way, of undercover law enforcement officers who are working in future operations. Dangerous stuff, and they seem not to care. And by the way, I'm going to remind you again, we went to the authors. We asked the authors of the discharge to change this, and they said jump in the Potomac. All right? Number five, national security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies, in intelligence agencies. I could go on. I won't be here all morning, but there's a lot of problems. There's also a lot of legal scholars, and I'm among them, who are concerned that that you've got problems with grand jury secrecy. We know Rule 6E of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure prohibits the release of grand jury materials, but the way the discharge is drafted, you can make an argument that it requires all that to come out, and that is a serious problem. Grand juries are not adversarial, okay? There's no opportunity there for cross-examination. You can't disprove evidence. You can't challenge the evidence in any way. And if Congress goes in and breaks that seal and just starts releasing sensitive grand jury materials and allegations like that, it raises a risk that the grand jury process will be politicized in the future. And that's a whole other danger that we could talk about all day. I'm gonna wrap this up and just say that Republicans support maximum transparency. We always have. The President of the United States supports maximum transparency. You've heard him say it in his own words. But he has had the same concerns that I've just articulated here, and we've talked about that. All of us have had these concerns, and we understand that we have a responsibility to innocent people and victims that is not properly guarded by the discharge petition. And that's why we're so incensed about that. We've got to make sure that we disclose the names of anybody who aided or conspired in any way with Jeffrey Epstein. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that innocent people are protected. So we have to do this in a way that doesn't violate victim privacy, that doesn't create new victims, that doesn't disclose the names of any whistleblower or informant, that causes the release of grand jury materials or child sexual abuse materials, or undermines our national security. And I think everybody of good conscience and common sense would say, of course you have to do that. But here we are. So the discharge petition got its 218th signature, and it is going to go forward. It is going to pass because it only takes 218. And we know that the Democrats have disregarded all these concerns, and they're going to move it forward anyway. So all the people of good conscience here say, we've registered our concerns, we stated our opposition as long as possible, but we're also for maximum transparency. So what am I to do as a leader in a situation like this? I call my counterpart in the Senate, Leader Thune, and I talked him through this with him and shared our deep concerns. And of course, they share those concerns as well. And so I'm very confident that when this moves forward in the process, if and when it is processed in the Senate, which there's no certainty that that will be, that they will take the time methodically to do what we have not been allowed to do in the House, to amend this discharge petition and to make sure that these protections are there. The authors of the discharge did not allow us to do that here. That's the rules here. But in the Senate, they can correct it. So under that circumstance, because of that, we know there's serious deficiencies. We know that the work of our colleagues in the Senate can address that and will. They're very conscientious and concerned, as we are, about all this. As we've insisted from the very beginning, Republicans are the only party trying to make a material difference in ensuring maximum transparency. Oh, by the way, I'll just tell you, I put the bill on the floor for unanimous consent last Wednesday night. And guess who objected to it? The Democrats, okay? If this is so urgent and they were so concerned about getting this done and seeing justice be done and all that, they would not have blocked the request, okay? This is about politics. They blocked our unanimous consent motion to expedite their bill and made us waste all this additional time so they could have a show vote today. Republicans are ready to get the job done, to move forward so we can continue to get on to these important issues of dealing with what the American people demand and deserve for us to deal with. And so I want to leave you with this thought. Everybody should think long and hard about who here is acting truthfully, honestly, and in good faith. It is not the Democrat Party that has obfuscated and blatantly lied for the last 4 years about all these things. It is not the Democrats who shut down the government for their own selfish political purposes. It is not the Democrats who blocked the passage of this discharge a week ago because they wanted to have a political moment. It is the Republicans who are acting in good faith, and I believe the American people are going to see that and understand it. I'm going to vote to move this forward. I think it could be close to a unanimous vote because everybody here, all the Republicans, want to go on record to show they're for maximum transparency, but they also want to note that we're demanding that this stuff get corrected before it is ever moves through the process and is completed. I sincerely hope my Democrat colleagues will show the same level of urgency and enthusiasm when it comes to tackling the real issues facing the country that we got to get to, and that's what we really wanted to talk about this morning. Affordability issues are real, and the Democrats themselves created the crisis. Remember, over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, they spent like drunken sailors, and when you throw a bunch of new money into the system, it makes inflation rise, right? Republicans are ready and eager to continue our work to clean up the mess that the Democrats made. We've been doing that already, and we're going to continue to do it. Joining the leadership team this morning to discuss our record-setting success and our continued efforts to bring back affordability to...
You were just listening there to House Speaker Michael Johnson there expressing his concerns when it comes to this vote and push to release the Epstein files. He says that he is for putting it forward, but he listed out a series of issues that he says with the current way in which lawmakers are trying to do so. Now, again, it's a very big day. Why is he talking about this? Because we are expecting a vote in the House on that bipartisan bill that would force the Justice Department to publicly release all files related to its investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And just earlier this morning, we heard from survivors, advocates, and lawmakers who are advocating for the releasing of these files. And so now we're going to play that. This was outside of the Capitol just an hour ago, where you can hear from them and why they don't necessarily have the same concerns that we just heard from the House Speaker.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Ro.
Okay, we're going to come back to that. We just had a quick thing with the video there. We're going to re-cue it, but you can see off the bat, that is Republican Congresswoman out of Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is now one of the people supporting the release of these files, even going publicly against President Donald Trump, who she has been very well known to support much of her career here, right? In terms of before this past weekend, the last few days, the president had been against the releasing of these files, and then he changed course here with the last few days, saying that he would sign a bill if it were to make it to his desk for transparency. Now, you're going to hear from Taylor Greene there. You're going to hear from survivors as well. Also important to note, as a part of this press conference, were the two lawmakers, Republican and Democrat, who were co-sponsors to put this bill forward. So again, this took place just about an hour or so ago, in which they spoke outside of the Capitol. Their push hours before we are expecting a vote to release the files in the Epstein case.
Degrees. And my first thought was, hell has froze over. I want to speak goodness and love and hope into the women standing behind me and all of the other survivors whose names you don't even know, but stand with these women. They are survivors, and they are strong, and they are courageous, and they are daughters of God. They are not victims. These women have fought the most horrific fight that no woman should have to fight, and they did it by banding together and never giving up. And that's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people, whom we serve as representatives here in Congress, demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files. But the real fight will happen after that. While I want to see every single name released so that these women don't have to live in fear and intimidation, which is something I've had a small taste of in just the past few days, just a small taste. They've been living it for years. But the real test will be, will the Department of Justice release the files? Or will it all remain tied up in investigations? Will the CIA release the files? will a judge in New York release the information? That's information that needs to come out. And will the list of names that these women privately hold, and they hold it because of their fear in their heart of what would happen to them if they release it on their own, will that list of names come out? That's the real test. So I want to thank Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna for your bravery in doing something that is much needed in America, crossing the political aisle that has become bigger than the Grand Canyon in America. But these men crossed that aisle on behalf of these women. And that is more of what is needed today in America than ever in our history. So thank you so much. Who's next? Ro, I'll let you introduce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marjorie, Representative Green, for your courage and your words. Before I introduce our survivors, I just want to say that they will make their statements, and then you can ask questions of Representative Massie, myself, or Representative Green, but we do not want people asking questions and cross-examining the survivors. They're here to tell their stories, and they should be heard by the American people with respect. Of course, Congressman Massie, myself, and Congresswoman Green would be happy to answer questions after that. With that, let me introduce the survivor who's helped organize a lot of this, and will be telling her own story and introducing the other survivors. Haley Robson, thank you for your courage and leadership.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Oh, good morning. It's a little chilly coming from Florida. Not used to it. I want everybody to take a look. I know everybody sees us today as grown adults, but we are fighting for the children that were abandoned and left behind in the reckoning. This is who you're fighting for. This is who Congress is fighting for. This is who the House of Representatives are fighting for, and hopefully the Senate will fight for us too. I want to kick this off right, and I want to address Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, and Ro Khanna. I want to express my gratitude for all three of you, and I know, Ro Khanna, we spoke earlier. This is an incredible thing that I'm watching as a Republican, and this is non-political, but for you to go against your own party and to be ostracized. There's no place for political violence. There's no place for intimidation. And I can say firsthand, stepping out against Epstein and his crimes against children, we have all experienced that ourselves. So for you to knowingly put yourselves at risk and put your career at risk is unbelievable to watch, and we are so grateful. I also want to make a proposition for Marjorie Taylor Greene, because you've been an advocate for this. If you decide to read those names on the House floor for immunity, I will be more than happy, no security needed. I will stand beside you. I will hold your hand. I will hold your coat in solidarity with you. And on top of that, I did talk to Jayapal, who said she would be more than happy to read those names too on the floor with all of us. It's time that we put the political agendas and party affiliations to the side. This is a human issue. This is about children. There is no place in society for exploitation, sexual crimes, or exploitation of women in society. There's no room for it, guys. We're not having it. And to the President of the United States of America, who is not here today, I want to send a clear message to you. While I do understand that your position has changed on the Epstein files, and I'm grateful that you have pledged to sign this bill, I can't help to be skeptical of what the agenda is. So, with that being said, I want to relay this message to you. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. You have put us through so much stress, the lockdowns, the halt of these procedures that were supposed to have happened 50 days ago. The Adelita Grijalva, who waited to get sworn in, and then get upset when your own party goes against you because what is being done is wrong. It's not right. For your own self-serving purposes, this is America. This is land of the free. Land of the free. In 1863, we have a woman on top of the Capitol building represent freedom. I do not feel free today. I don't know if the women behind me feel free today. So I am begging every member of Congress, every representative to step up and choose the chaos, choose the survivors, choose the children, protect the children, all children. You protect all of us equally. Thank you very much for your time. Following that, Lisa Phillips will be the next survivor.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Phillips. It's an honor to stand here again for something America is finally united on: the immediate release of the entire Epstein files. In a divided nation, this is one demand we all share. Last time I stood here, I made a promise to all survivors watching. If those in power refused to release the truth, we would start uncovering it ourselves. For anyone who doubted that moment has already arrived. Since that day, more survivors across the country and around the world have reached out. Text, emails, DMs, first-hand accounts, and evidence. Many are women who were abused or trafficked through the international modeling pipeline Epstein built, promising visas, apartments, opportunities, futures, while exploiting their dreams for abuse. Most are still terrified to speak publicly because the men involved are powerful. They're connected, and as we know, they're protected. For too long, survivors have watched others speak for us. And while we are grateful for our allies in Congress on both sides, we've realized something. This fight belongs to us. We lived it, and we know the truth. And we will not wait quietly for institutions to decide when we're allowed to speak. The survivors now coming forward have entrusted us with their stories. We are sharing that information with the proper authorities, and when it can safely be made public, it will be. So today, we are launching something historic. The first national, survivor-led political movement in America. Nonpartisan, laser-focused on exposing the systems, the loopholes, power structures, and silencing mechanisms that have protected predators for far too long. We are stepping directly into the halls of power, into the political arena. We will help rewrite laws that failed us and build protections for our nation's children together, targeted by sexual exploitation. Together, today, survivors begin our own fight, the survivor revolution. And we intend to change this nation for the better. If you're a survivor who wants to join us, please reach out. And to anyone who benefits from the current system, intentionally or not, remember this. Alone, yes, we are afraid. But together, we are feared. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Jenna Lisa Jones, and just as Haley, I would just like to give a little reminder that this was me at 14 years old. I was a child. I was in 9th grade. I was hopeful for life and what the future had held for me. He stole a lot from me at 14. So just a little reminder there for everybody. Sorry. So, I just want to start out by saying thank you for all of you for being here today. I want to start by expressing my deepest gratitude to the members of Congress who have stood with us, the survivors, in demanding the transparency and justice. Your support is a signal that this institution can still serve the American people. This issue was never one that should have divided us the way it has. In fact, it should have united us. Sexual abuse is not a Republican issue. It is not or Democratic issue. It is not it is also not a hoax. We are here as American survivors of a man who used his wealth and power to hurt young girls and women. The world should see the files to know who Jeffrey Epstein was and how the system catered to him and failed us. Emotionally, this process has been distressing. First, the administration said it would release everything and then applauded President Trump for that. Then it fought to release nothing. Now that checks and balances of our democracy have worked and the bill is getting passed to release the files, we are hearing the administration say they intend to investigate various Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class. Show some real leadership. Show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment. It is time to take the honest, moral ground and support the release of these files, not to weaponize pieces of the files against random political enemies that did nothing wrong, but to understand who Epstein's friends were, who covered for him, what financial institutions allowed his trafficking to continue, who knew what he was doing but was too much of a coward to do anything about it. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were able to recruit and abuse young girls and women. Then the country will learn nothing, and has horrible history will repeat itself if we do not do something about this. Thank you to the brave congressmen and women who have stood by us and recognized our side is the American side, and we should all be proud once again to be Americans. I want to just extend my thank you so much to all three of you, very, very much. The first time we were here, listening to the, people yell shame at you, and when she was here in support of us, really hit home and spoke some volumes, and I just very much appreciative of your support, and we stand by you. Don't let any of them bully you. We're here for you. Thank you, guys.
You're listening there to survivors of Jeffrey Epstein who are speaking outside of the nation's capital today ahead of an expected vote on that bipartisan bill that would force the Justice Department to release all files in its investigation into Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, we are going to continue to follow that and even bring out more of the victims speaking later on within this stream. And we are expecting to get even more press conferences that haven't quite started yet from lawmakers in the House ahead of today's expected vote, which could happen anytime between 2 and 8 p.m. really at this point. It's a pretty wide range, but we're expecting somewhere within that window. But right now, we do want to take a moment to go back out to Virginia Beach. We told you at the top of this stream that we are partnering with Odyssey to raise support for families in our community. It's the Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive. We got people coming by and dropping off non-perishable items. And somebody who's out there right now, you see Jemiah Beatty. She's been there all morning long. Jemiah, you were there before people got there. Now people have started to come in. How's it been?
Let me just tell you, it's been a lot of excitement out here. The spirit of giving is really underway here at Pembroke Square parking lot in Virginia Beach. And I just want to show you, we've had some people coming in, a good steady flow of people filling up these boxes here, dropping off those non-perishable goods. And we've set a really big goal to fill up the truck there you see behind. So we've been kind of working at this all morning long. You see our crews here. I'm going to step over, have him show you the back of the truck there, but we have a couple of boxes in the back. This is what they're working to fill up inside. And Jaron, when you have a chance, I want to turn around and show them the amazing crew that's busy at work. They've been here since this event started at 8 a.m. Now it ends today at 6 p.m. And you can see them there just gathering those goods, filling up the boxes, and they're walking over to the truck there to fill that up. But we've also had, there's someone here who's dropping off goods this morning. But one of the main things I want to tell people watching us right now is that, again, those non-perishable goods are what we're looking for, but there's also some items that we're in critical need of, and that includes baby formula, canned chicken like your tuna, your proteins, any proteins that are canned are really good to have, as well as personal hygiene items and kitchen supplies. This is what we're hoping to kind of help stretch groceries for families across Hampton Roads. Now, I had the opportunity to speak with those coming out to donate today, and they definitely shared that giving spirit, just saying they wanted to give back, some of whom say in their time of need they have benefited from events like this. So I had the pleasure of talking to Cheryl and Sylvia this morning, who were some of the kind, generous people dropping off goods this morning. But again, turning to the amazing volunteers, they're still hard at work. You see him taping up boxes here, boxes where they will be filling up those goods there. And they've been working like this since 8, but we have some familiar faces. I have Craig Moeller right here who just showed up today. So
I want to know though about this.
Oh
she
my.
got like the
It's just
head,
cold,
like
you
that.
know?
It has gotten so nice
It's just
out
cold.
here.
It's just
What do you
cold.
think? The spirit out here is awesome. They've been working hard getting more boxes together. We need to fill these boxes, Jeremiah.
Exactly. So we're really encouraging those watching right now to get down here. We want to help as many people as we can, really make a difference for them, especially ahead of the holiday season. So we have our amazing Craig here today, Ashley Smith. They'll be out here live in our noon show.
Yep, we'll be back live, and I want to tell everybody, if you cannot get down here, that's okay. Scan that QR code. That is such a big deal because the food bank takes those monetary donations and they can stretch, they can buy more with $1 than you can imagine. So every dollar, every penny helps, really. But this is awesome. And Jeremiah, it is awesome to be out here with you. They never let me out of the studio.
Right.
So to get out
That's
here,
very true.
spend some time with you and Ashley, this is amazing.
And I want to add too, I know Craig is saying some really good points for you all, but even just one can, just bring one can, just anything you have, just bring that out here. It can really help families. But I do want to say again, if you're watching, you're not able to physically be present today, you can donate online. I know earlier this morning they were having some issues, but that's been troubleshooted now, and you can definitely donate whatever you can give. They will be taking those in today. But Eugene, again, the energy is so high. Oh wait, Craig,
I want to add one more thing. All right, Eugene, here's the deal. It's so rude to take away the microphone from Jeremiah, but you know, we got to do this, Eugene. I don't have an IFB in, so I wish I could talk directly. He's laughing. That's trouble. Here's the deal. We've got some Christmas music playing out here, and I think what would really make this afternoon perfect would be to have Eugene join us out here and maybe put those pipes to work. You know, he's got an amazing singing voice.
He does.
Don't you
And
think
so
that would
does
be great?
Jeremiah. Jeremiah is the
They say
songstress.
acting-wise, he looks like Denzel, but sounds like Brian McKnight.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I definitely, I thought Denzel for a while, but yeah, he's got the pipes.
Yeah,
We need to
I'm
cut both of
definitely,
your mics.
Oh, he said cut our mics. No. But I do want to show you some of the team here. Can we show? We have some of our 13 News Now team members here. Our news director, Tiara Schultz, is right there. Can we get a wave, Misty? So she's here. Ashley Smith. Everyone's out here. So I just want to show you. We even have our weather impact interceptor out here. People from Odyssey, the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia and the Eastern Shore. I mean, everyone is out here. So this is also a good opportunity to donate, but also meet some people that you may not get to meet any other time. So it's really great. We'll be out here until 6 p.m. Tonight, so come on out and help as much as you can.
Jeremiah, can you do one thing for me? If you and Jaron could go to where they are currently packing those boxes and give me a shot of what people are bringing, just so if anyone's watching this and they're able to go, they can see, okay, this is kind of an idea of what people can bring.
Well,
I just want to see it.
Our team is moving so fast over here. I told them to slow down earlier, but they've really been packing these boxes. Do we have any that we could show our viewers right now of goods that they can bring? Like right now, I'll tell you this, we have a box, some cereal, and this is really good. This can go a long way for families. But what about you? Could you share some of the items you've seen brought by donors this morning?
Yeah, a lot of canned foods, peanut butter, a lot of proteins, canned chicken, tuna, things of that sort. Those go a long way So really, go through your pantry or pick up a couple extra items at the store. Anything helps.
And I will say this, not to interrupt you, I did myself stop at Walgreens, which is right where we are, right by Walgreens here. I picked up like $20 worth of goods, and it was really quick and easy to stop by. But what about like baby formula? What's some other like of those critical items?
That is so wonderful. Diapers, you could get the formulas, baby formulas, even, tissues, things of that sort, wipes. Any of those things are helpful. And those are the things that are most expensive, and really a lot of people have that need.
And what was your name?
My name is Joyce Carcase.
We've been talking all this morning, but Joyce, tell me, what have you heard from those dropping off goods this morning? Have they shared excitement, joy? What's some of the messages they've left?
And they do. I think everybody knows that there's a great need out in the community right now. And I think one of the biggest things is, as they're dropping things off, I've had quite a few come through that said, we have more, and we're going to be coming back with more, because they feel like they don't have enough to give, but what they have is so significant. I think I heard somebody say earlier, one little, 2 or 3 cans, that can help with the meal.
And we're going to show you, we actually have someone that just arrived now. They're dropping off goods. And Jaron, if you can do a 360 there, you could see they had some rice, canned green beans, chicken, protein chicken. That's what we've been talking about this morning. But as you can see, as soon as these cars arrive, they're taking those goods, they're filling up these boxes, closing them up and putting them on trucks. So all of you who are coming through today, just know you'll be part of someone's dinner that will go out to Hampton Roads, a family out in Hampton Roads this morning. So it's really significant, and it's so meaningful, especially with Thanksgiving just around the corner. So we'll be out here until 6 o'clock tonight. Eugene, I'm going to toss it back to you.
Appreciate you, Jeremiah. Thank you so much. And thanks to her and all the other volunteers who are out there supporting this Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive. You heard Jeremiah say all the way through 6 o'clock. If you cannot make it out there physically, you can give online. Let's show that QR code one more time here. You can simply scan it using your phone. If you haven't done this before, you literally can just take your smartphone, take a picture. As you put that on your camera, it should populate for you a website for you to see. So you can scan that, you can give, and you can support this effort today to help families who can need it, right? We just know over the last several months, particularly in the last 2, there have just been circumstances that have really made it difficult for a lot of people in our community to just put food on the table, okay? That's what we're really trying to do. So any bit can help, whether it's a can, whether it's, you saw a lot of peanut butter, Sarah was pointing out to me a lot of peanut butter, whatever it may be, or money. If you can give of your treasure, that would be great too. So again, all the way through 6 o'clock, we're going to have this food drive. Hopefully you can give, and we'll continue to have this QR code. You'll have more hits throughout the day with other on-air personalities here at 13 News Now. They're live from Pembroke Square in Virginia Beach throughout the rest of the day here on 13 News Now and all of our platforms. Okay, we want to transition back to some of the news that is taking place today. We are back with this hearing with NTSB. They're looking into what exactly caused that bridge collapse in Baltimore after that container ship crashed into it a year and a half ago. We know 6 people died in that, and an original investigation showed that there may have been an electrical outage on the ship that caused the ship to lose its steering and then crash into that bridge, which now we know is going to cost at least $4 billion in order to replace. It's already caused such a strain on the community there in Maryland, but also with the port system there as well, not to mention the families who are still, you can believe, will be grieving the loss of their loved ones for the rest of their lives. And so again, NTSB was holding this hearing. We actually just had it. They just clicked off of it. Just to give you a quick little update on that. You can show them what we see. Literally, we had it on the board, but our feed just switched to what we are expecting to be a press conference from House, I believe, Democrats in a bit, as we're expecting the vote today on the releasing of the Jeffrey Epstein files. But just real quick to kind of wrap up with the NTSB, today we are expecting a vote that will look into what caused that crash, what safety recommendations need to happen moving forward, along with the few other items that they were currently looking at. Again, that is taking place right now. It's just that our feed happened to switch at the moment. Speaking of Jeffrey Epstein, again, today we are expecting that vote in the releasing of the files in that investigation in the House. So the House lawmakers, bipartisan group, they are expected to have the number of votes needed in order to force the Justice Department to release all documents pertaining to that case. We were listening to just a little bit ago a press conference that happened outside of the Capitol featuring the two lawmakers who co-sponsored this bipartisan bill and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is supporting the releasing of these documents, even going against someone that she has supported very much so throughout the entirety of her career, that being President Donald Trump, who just in the last few days, because of this particular issue and some of the things that Taylor Greene has said that he would even put someone in a position to primary against Taylor Greene. Okay. And so a lot of things happening, a lot of pressures happening right now when it comes to this vote. The president has within the last few days said that he would sign something if it got to his desk, but we don't know what will happen if it gets to the House and gets to the Senate. We don't know what the Senate is going to do. But I just wanted to tee that up here. We do want to listen to more of the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein who spoke outside of the Capitol earlier today ahead of this vote, while we wait for more House lawmakers to speak in D.C. on this matter, which we're expecting will happen in just a few moments. But for now, let's go ahead and roll the earlier comments made by survivors of Epstein.
I came to the United States when I was 8 years old. I was only 14 when I first encountered Jeffrey Epstein, and my daughter is now almost at that age. At 14, the only things she should be concerned with are going to school, practicing at her cheerleading competitions, and enjoying her time with her friends and family. She should not have to bear the burden of worrying about being manipulated or exploited. At this age, she is still a child, and no child should ever have to face such threats. I also want to address a troubling statement made by a prominent figure on a major platform, who suggested that a 14-year-old should not be considered a victim of pedophilia. This is a dangerous and incorrect notion. When we talk about how children at 14 should still be treated as children, I ask you to look at the young people around you. Remember when you were that age? Do you think you should have been responsible for being groomed? Put yourselves in our position when we were young. I'm here today not to just share my story, but to call on all of you to help make a difference. We need to support to push for the Transparency Act and release the Epstein files. Please reach out to your Congress members and senators and urge them to support this crucial legislation. The truth is something that we all deserve, and it is vital for safety and protection of the future of generations. Think about all the young people in your life, your daughters, your nieces, your friends. Let's stand together and ensure that they grow up in a world where they are safe and valued. I often wondered, why did this happen to me? And then I realized, God only gives you what you can handle. I'm here for a purpose, and that purpose is to make a difference today. So, let's stand together to protect our children and our peace. Thank you.
Okay, so that was earlier remarks by one of the survivors in this Epstein case. But right now, actually, that is happening live. That was an earlier press conference that we saw. There is a new one taking place with survivors and advocates, and also the newest representative out of Arizona, Democrat Adelita Grijalva, who has represented the crucial vote to push this petition forward. She is right now at the podium. We have been waiting for at least 2 months for House Speaker Johnson to swear her in, knowing that she was going to be that deciding vote in order to get this bill ahead. So here she is speaking.
The thousands of pages released thus far are only the tip of the iceberg. And that matters because without full transparency, we cannot have justice. Let me be clear, this is not a Democratic issue. This is not a Republican issue. It's a human rights issue. It's a matter of justice. The momentum behind this did not come from politicians. It came from survivors and the public who demanded answers. This is why the discharge petition crossed 218 signatures, despite Speaker Johnson doing everything in his power to prevent this from happening, including calling on an early summer release and delaying my swearing in for 7 weeks. The public pressure cannot stop now. There are going to be people trying to frame this as a hoax, a distraction, or a partisan fight. To them, I say, you cannot call it a hoax when real survivors are standing right here. The truth is the truth. No one's name, party, wealth, or fame, or title should prevent the truth from coming out. We don't know yet what every document will show, but that's exactly why they must be released. And while the House will hopefully pass this legislation today, this is just the first step. The bill must pass the Senate, the President must sign it, and even then, the DOJ must implement the law fully and responsibly. So today is a milestone, not the finish line. No one should ever have to fight this hard for the truth, but survivors' courage inspires all of us. Because sunlight is the best disinfectant, and justice cannot survive in the dark. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. As Representative Grijalda just said, this does not stop here. The House is just the first step. It then goes on to the Senate. And with that, I am proud to announce Senator Mark Kelly, who is speaking next. Thank you so much for being here.
Morning, everybody. Well, thank you for being here. I know it takes a lot of courage for the victims of these crimes to speak out. We're here because of you. Together, we are on the edge of doing something important. From Epstein on down, the people who carried out and aided in these horrific crimes thought their wealth and power meant that they would never have to answer for them. They thought the system was rigged for them and not against them, but against their victims. And for a long time, they were right. But we have a chance now to prove them wrong. We have the chance to say that in America, you will be held accountable. Doesn't matter if you're rich. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you hurt people, you will answer for it. This hasn't come easy. Powerful people like the President of the United States and the Speaker of the House have tried very hard to keep the whole truth from coming out. They made Adelita Grijalva wait how long? 2 months?
50 days.
50 days to take her seat in Congress just to delay accountability. And next, we're going to need your help on the other side of the Capitol, making sure that Senate leadership doesn't delay this any further. They need to schedule a vote on this so this can get passed into law. But together, we can get there. Because at the core of this isn't about Congress members or senators or the media. This is about real victims, but also about their families who deserve justice and who deserve accountability. And together, we're going to make this happen. And thank you very much for being here. We've got a little bit more work ahead of us, but my hope is that Leader Thune will do the right thing and bring this legislation to the floor of the Senate and allow a vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Representative Robert Garcia.
Well, thank you. First, let me just start by saying that today especially,
all of our thoughts are with every single survivor and victim of Jeffrey Epstein. These are incredible women who, many of whom were abused when they were children at the hands of powerful men in our country, and censoring them and the work that you're all doing should happen every single day as we debate in the Congress what our next steps are as it relates to holding people and the powerful accountable. I, of course, want to thank all the advocacy groups that are here. I especially want to thank
Okay, we know that is ongoing right now, but we told you there's a lot happening in D.C. today. Not only do we have the NTSB hearing on the crash into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, we have this taking place with the Epstein files and the vote set to take place to release them publicly. But right now we also have President Trump, as you see there, he is welcoming for the first time in 7 years the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Now, if you remember, the relationship between the U.S. and Saudi had kind of been damaged severely after the death and killing of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi by Saudi agents back in 2018. Now, in the recent years and currently as the president has been in office, we have seen more of a relationship building between the Trump administration and the Crown Prince there in Saudi. You can see they're rolling out literally the red carpet and a lot of the glitz and glamour there as they expect for the Crown Prince to arrive, which we'd imagine this should be him coming out of this vehicle at the moment. So there we go. We see the moment it is taking place. President Trump is welcoming the Crown Prince of Saudi, Mohammed bin Salman, there out the White House, welcoming him in. Now, some of the other things to kind of keep in mind as the two pose and they're taking pictures and their formalities again on the red carpet is that this comes just after recently the president has agreed to sell the Saudis F-35 fighter jets, despite there being some concerns even within the administration that the sale could cause some issues and lead to China even gaining access to U.S. technology behind the advanced weapons system. It's also a bit surprising coming with some Republican people within the leaders that have been a little bit worried or wary about upsetting Israel's qualitative military edge over its neighbors as well. And remember, this all comes as the president really pushing for the peace deal and peace treaties there with Israel also. So anyway, this is a big moment that we are witnessing at the moment there in Washington, D.C., as the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince there, Mohammed bin Salman, is making his return there to the White House as the two are now walking with the president with his hand on his back, greeting him into the White House there with, you can see there, everyone standing at arms with the welcome. We just wanted to catch that moment as it took place, since this is the first White House visit, again, since 2018. More than 7 years since that has taken place. And technically, it's not a state visit either, because the Crown Prince is not in charge. He's not the head of state for Saudi, but he does oversee day-to-day governing on behalf of his father. But again, this is nonetheless a very historic moment within the last decade here. We know that relationship had faltered anyway. So we're keeping that up. Well, I think it's on me at the moment. We just came off of that picture as the two have gone inside. So I just wanted to bring that to you, but let's go ahead now, Sarah, see if we can go back to, since it is still going, to listen to the representative there outside of Capitol Hill as they're awaiting for that vote on the Epstein files. We'll continue to listen to that. Again, we are waiting to hear from House Democrats who are expected to host some form of hearing as well. Not hearing, some form of press conference here momentarily. But again, we'll go back outside of Capitol Hill now to hear this most recent press conference.
And you are hiding information as it relates to justice for these women. The Oversight Committee is coming after those documents. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those remarks. Next up, we have Representative Kelly Morrison. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Good morning. I'm Kelly Morrison, Congresswoman from Minnesota's 3rd District. It's good to be here with all of you this morning on this incredibly important day. Thank you so much to the Sexual Violence Prevention Association for bringing us together. So much gratitude to Teresa for being here today. Your bravery, selflessness, and advocacy are truly remarkable. Your courage to speak out and stand up for others is the only reason we are in this position today, finally able to try and bring the justice and transparency that is far too long overdue. And thank you to the Sexual Violence Prevention Association for delivering this letter today, bringing nearly 50 organizations dedicated to ending child abuse, sexual violence, and human trafficking together to call on Congress to pass the Epstein Files Transparency Act and demand the release of the files. Because that is exactly what today is about, standing up against child abuse, sexual violence, and human trafficking. Today is an opportunity for us to send an important message here in D.C., across the country, and across the world. Today is our opportunity to say, no matter who you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how powerful you are not above the law. No amount of money, power, connections, or corruption can buy you a free pass to abuse children or sell human beings. For decades, the government and people in power have been complicit in covering up the horrific abuses of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Today, we will say no more. The time has come for the victims and survivors to get the justice and the transparency they are asking for and deserve. The time has come for the perpetrators to be held accountable. The time has come for the corrupt leaders who were complicit in facilitating this to be exposed. The time has come for the American people to get the transparency they have demanded. And we have to ask ourselves, if we don't get this right, if we don't release the files and bring justice to the victims and hold the perpetrators accountable, what message would that send? Today marks a new day. Today we say this will no longer stand. We are putting the rich and powerful on notice. We are saying you cannot and will not get away with exploitation and abuse. There is nothing more deeply American than the notion that everyone has equal rights under the law. And today, we are reasserting our rights as Americans. I met with survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell alongside members of the Democratic Women's Caucus earlier this fall. Their stories are harrowing. Their testimony is powerful. Their bravery is unmatched. We have seen the lengths the rich and powerful will go to cover up their crimes. But these women are putting everything on the line simply to ensure that we never allow this to happen to anyone else ever again. So today, every single member of the U.S. House of Representatives will go on record to say whether they will be complicit in a cover-up protecting pedophiles and the corrupt, rich, and powerful, or if they stand on the side of justice, truth, transparency, and the American people. It should not be lost, however, that the only reason we are having to take this vote is because the Trump administration is refusing to comply with a subpoena and release the files. The president and his administration are legally required to release the files to Congress and could do so today. They could have released them at any time since he was sworn in. Not only has he refused to comply with the subpoena, he and the Speaker of the House have tried to block the release of the files at every turn, going so far as to shut down the House of Representatives for more than a month. But Americans understand that this is simply not a partisan issue. This is about our very humanity. I hope to see this pass with a unanimous vote in the House today, and I expect the Senate to take it up immediately and pass it with the support of every single senator. And then the president must sign it into law and finally release the files so that the survivors can finally get the justice that they have been denied for far too long. It is truly the very least that we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very powerful.
Again, you were listening to a live press conference that is taking place outside of the Capitol this morning as advocates, survivors, and even lawmakers are speaking ahead of this vote expected today in the releasing of the Jeffrey Epstein files. House lawmakers are expected to have the votes in order to force the Justice Department to release those files in that investigation into the convicted sex offender. That vote's supposed to take place anytime between 2 and 8. That's the anticipated time frame, but we will see what will take place. Well, right now we're going to transition to Louisville, Kentucky. You know, and have heard us report on that deadly crash, that UPS plane crash that took place just over 2 weeks ago. Right now we're getting an update into that. We're going to go ahead and go to Louisville, where a press conference just got underway. They just walked up to the podium. And it should be here. The next voice that you will be hearing is the mayor of Kentucky, who's going to be giving us an update into this crash.
We've come together to provide food for the first responders, and we've seen support in ways large and small from all across this community that has been truly heartwarming. And today, we're proud to announce that in partnership with Teddy Abrams and the Louisville Orchestra, we'll be presenting a free tribute concert for the entire community following the tragic loss of UPS Airlines Flight 2976. These past few weeks have been an incredibly difficult time for our entire community, and nobody should have to go through this tragedy alone. To the Grade A Auto Parts family, to the survivors, to their families, to their colleagues and customers, to the heroes who saved other lives and helped them get to safety, to the UPS family, the families of the victims, to our other valued employees of UPS who have bonded together in strength following this tragedy. This concert is an opportunity to bring our entire community together, to show our support for all of you, to pay our respects to those we've lost, to recognize the bravery of our first responders and other heroes, and mourn together as a community, to join together with music, to move forward with strength. This free concert is going to be on Thursday evening and is free to our entire community. We hope everyone joins us. It will take place Thursday, November 20th at 7 p.m. in Whitney Hall at the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts. Doors will open at 6 p.m. The concert will start at 7. Again, this is a free concert to hear the Louisville Orchestra perform for everyone. There will also be free parking available that night. We've made the Park Riverfront Garage, located at 141 North 6th Street, just behind the Kentucky Center, free for the evening so that people can enjoy this entire evening for free. I really want to give a giant thanks to Teddy Abrams, Jordan Harris, the board chair, and everyone at the Louisville Orchestra for their gracious offer to have this remembrance concert to support those who are grieving, to bring strength and togetherness to our entire community. And please join me in welcoming Teddy Abrams.
Thank you, Mayor. We are very proud to be able to work with so many partners, of course, Metro government and UPS and so many others that have come together to make this concert possible. It seems like in moments like this, when the community confronts a tragedy and a challenging period, it is incumbent upon all of us, and especially our institutions like an orchestra, to step up and do whatever it is that we can to offer something that helps us heal, that helps us find that communality and the space together where we can both confront the challenges, but also find a certain peace and healing. And of course, music is the language that does that best. And it was an obvious thing that when we see something like what just happened to our community, we reached out and offered our music because it's what we can provide. And I believe that this is a moment for the community to join together in remembrance, memorialization, and tribute to the people that lost their lives. So the concert is a combination of spiritual music, reflective music, contemplative music, but all music that's deeply beautiful at a time when that's a reminder of the strength of our community, the strength of the things that actually bind us and bring us together, and hopefully it begins the healing process in a way that lets us all move forward together and remember the members of our community that lost their lives and the first responders that serve us so graciously. So we're very much looking forward to seeing all of you at the performance, and it's, as I said, a deep, deep honor to be able to offer this music. It's what we can provide at the orchestra, and it's an honor to serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teddy. Thank you so much to the Louisville Orchestra. There's more information available on the Louisville Orchestra website. People can register on that website, but it is not required. You can just show up again for this free tribute concert. I look forward to seeing thousands of people from our community there on Thursday evening, and I hope that our friends in the media will help get this message out. We know it's just 2 days away, but given we approach the Thanksgiving holiday and we think about what we're thankful for this year, I think all of us have even more to be thankful for our lives, for our community. And this will be a wonderful way to, as we begin to approach the Thanksgiving and holiday season. So we'd appreciate your help in getting the message out. The others can join me. We're going to give a little bit of updates, a couple of other updates as well. This morning, we're joined by UPS Airlines President Bill Moore. Bill and his team have been mourning the loss of their colleagues. They've been working incredibly hard since the moments after this tragic crash. Bill has asked for the opportunity to provide some words this morning to the community and to Bill. I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the entire UPS family on the tragic loss of life and on the trauma this has caused to so many of our beloved members of our 20-plus thousand strong UPS family here in Louisville. Please join me in welcoming Bill Moore, President of UPS Airlines.
Well, thank you, Mayor Greenberg, for this opportunity, and thank you all for being here today. I'd also like to especially thank our first responders. Jody, you and your team have been exceptional, as well as Chief Little, the Okolona Fire Department, and all the other groups that came out to support this accident. You've been exceptional. With the NTSB now completing their on-site phase of the investigation, we wanted to share how UPS has responded and how we will continue to respond in the days and months. But first, I want to express how deeply saddened I am, as well as our entire UPS community, about Flight 2976. My words cannot describe how painful it has been over the last 2 weeks. We know it's been exceptionally challenging. I can only imagine how challenging it's been for the families of the victims. Our hearts continue to be with all those that are affected. And our thoughts and prayers remain with the families who are grieving. And with everyone whose lives were shaken by what happened. We remain committed to supporting the victims' families, understanding exactly what occurred, and do everything we can to support the NTSB. I want to provide you an update on some of the many things we've been working on since the accident occurred on November 4th. Minutes after we learned about the accident, we activated our airline incident response team, and we assembled in our airline headquarters. We immediately contacted the NTSB to make them aware of the accident and begin to investigate what happened. We deployed our family assistance support team or our FAST team. This is a group of UPS volunteers who have been trained to support the victims' families. With this team, we've been in direct contact with each of the families, and we've been providing constant updates, emotional support, and including access to grief counseling and mental health resources. We've also provided financial support every step of the way. That includes financing travel, funeral expenses, and meeting the immediate needs of each family. With the support of the NTSB, we also opened up the Family Assistance Center, and this was a place for the victims to come for food, for resources, for financial assistance, really anything they needed in the immediate days after the accident. We launched our GO team, and this is a group of technical experts from within UPS Airlines that have been supporting the NTSB to try and drive towards root cause of what happened and gather the facts as quickly as possible. And at the recommendation of the manufacturer, Boeing in this case, we made the decision to voluntarily ground our entire fleet of MD-11 airplanes so we can ensure that we further inspect the airplanes to make sure they're safe for continued flight. And now to support the families of victims, survivors, and businesses affected, we've opened the Community Resource Center that will continue to assist with additional resources, mental health support, and any financial support that these families and groups may need. I'll just end with this. Our hearts ache for the victims' families, this community, and our employees. And we will continue to support all the needs of impacted by this accident, and we will do everything we can to make it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. There are still many agencies and first responders that are working hard in and around the crash site to restore safety and get folks back to work in their businesses, to reopen roads, and so much more. We're joined this morning by LG&E, by MSD, and our emergency management agency, as well as Oklahoma Fire Department, to talk about what's going on at the scene right now and some expectations for members of the public, for employees of businesses that have been impacted around the crash site, as well as business owners of those businesses as well. LG&E is one of those organizations that has been working hard around the crash site over the past 2 weeks. They are making progress, but still have more work to do in restoring electricity and gas for certain parts. Here with us this morning is Liz Pratt, Senior Director of Communications and Corporate Responsibility of LG&E, to provide an update on LG&E's work and what they are doing in the days ahead. Liz?
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg, and thank you to all of the responders and local, state, and federal agencies who have remained partners through this response effort. We know it's been an incredibly challenging time for all who were affected, for the surrounding neighborhood, and for our community. And through it all, our community has come together and shown an outpouring of support in so many ways. So to start with the work that we've been doing since the crash occurred and what we're currently doing. Directly following the crash, our immediate focus was making the area safe for the emergency responders and for those in the area by de-energizing power lines and disrupting natural gas service. At that time, about 290 electric customers and 94 gas customers were affected. Since then, our focus has remained on keeping the area safe and restoring customer services. During that time, we've been replacing damaged utility poles, repairing electric infrastructure, and are in the process of replacing natural gas infrastructure. Early on, we were able to reroute power when it was safe to do so for some of our affected electric customers. And last weekend, crews replaced broken poles and damaged equipment along Grade Lane to get power restored. Currently, we have about 90 electric customers and those 94 gas customers still affected. As each area of the site has been cleared, and while cleanup efforts continue, our crews, with the support of many employees behind the scenes, have been assessing our equipment and determining what steps must occur. In many cases, that is requiring replacing and repairing equipment. So right now, our focus remains on Grade Lane. This is where our gas crews and business partners are replacing a damaged gas pipeline and service lines that feed from it. This is the pipeline that also delivers gas to the neighboring streets. We anticipate work along Grade Lane may take several weeks. Once that work is complete, our crews will then be able to make the necessary repairs along the side streets. On the electric side, as I mentioned, we were able to restore service power to Grade Lane last weekend. So our crews are now working to get service restored for customers along Melton Avenue over the next several days. Again, as cleanup efforts continue, we'll be shifting to the remaining affected areas. We're also keeping an eye on the forecast and weather that's headed our way, which could affect these timelines as well. We appreciate our customers' continued patience, and we are making every effort to restore service safely and as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liz. MSD is helping to coordinate several local, state, and federal agencies throughout this entire process. And today, you'll hear that we're proud to announce that 95% of the oil from this incident has been contained. To provide more detail on this, the other work that MSD is working to do to protect our environment, our ground, our water, our air, we're joined by the Executive Director of MSD, Tony Parrott. Tony?
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg. And, as the mayor mentioned, there was a lot of collaborative efforts with local, state, and federal agencies and partners who have worked tirelessly to meet the challenges of this large and complex effort. As the mayor mentioned, about 95% of all the runoff that has entered some of the waterways has been captured. That equates to approximately 880,000 gallons of oily liquids and other runoff that have been removed from waterways in southwest Louisville, including in the northern ditch, the southern ditch, and Pond Creek. One of the things that I think is very important for the community to understand that it's a very complex operation. We currently have 3 locations that catch runoff that are set up with booms and skimmers. Skimmers are mechanical devices that separate oil and other contaminants from the water. At those 3 locations, along a 4.5-mile stretch of Pond Creek, with the closest at the crash site being in a nearby ditch and the farthest being in a portion of Pond Creek near Nick Rodman Legacy Park. We do know that the waterways will be impacted by the weather this week. The current rainfall will help flush some of the runoff to these collection locations. And so when you think about the ongoing operation and obviously the quick action that we took in the very beginning, we're not aware of any runoff that went further down Pond Creek. We have not seen any oil show up at sites that are close to the Salt River, or we haven't seen anything at the Ohio River. During the week of the crash, MSD did put out an advisory asking the community to avoid contact with waters in Pond Creek, the northern ditch and southern ditch, due to potentially contaminated runoff. That advisory is still in effect, and we want folks to avoid contacting waters in any way and keep your pets away from those waterways. However, for clarity, your drinking water is safe unless you have been contacted directly by Louisville Water. If you see oil or debris or discoloration in the waterway, please report that to MSD Customer Relations by calling 502-540-6000 or emailing our customer relations at louisvillemsd.org. And that is our update for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. As Bill mentioned earlier, and we want to continue to encourage people to go to our community resource center that has been set up nearby the airport, and it will continue to provide services to those who are impacted by this incident. We're also joined today by Jody Myman, who's the executive director of our emergency management agencies, who's been working since the seconds following this crash and coordinating efforts and working with all the emergency responders, the first responders, to provide an update on where we are and where we're headed over the weeks ahead. Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. In emergency management, you've heard me talk a lot about it, in the past. We prepare, we respond, we mitigate if possible, and we work through the recovery process. And in all the disasters we've ever had to work through, the recovery process takes the longest. It is the most challenging for us to get through. So, and that's what we're doing right now. And I want to assure the businesses, I want to assure the public that, there are over 100 people there daily working to get you back in your businesses, to get you back in your locations so that you can resume any kind of normalcy that you can. They're working 24 hours a day currently to do that, but they haven't stopped. But again, you've heard behind the people that have spoken before me that there is challenges that are taking place. The weather today they had to spend yesterday preparing for the weather today so that conditions do not get worse. So on a daily basis, we're presented with challenges. And while the NTSB has released the site, that doesn't mean that they've released the evidence. And every piece of that aircraft has to be found, collected, and packaged and taken away properly by the contractor that's on site doing that. So, because of that, we've had to create a phased approach with our cleanup and our recovery. We've got 3 phases. We've got phase 1, which is from Don Hudson Boulevard south on Gray Lane, and those businesses have been working. It's not open to the general public, but those businesses have been in their areas working, conducting businesses. Our phase 2 is north of that on Gray Lane, and with the challenges presented with the amount of oil, with the amount of runoff, with the infrastructure between electric and gas repair that's taken place, that's going to take a little bit longer, and we're working through that to make that our next opening area. And then the phase 3 is on the streets, Melton and Nable and Knopp, those areas that are directly affected by the aircraft itself. So like I said, we are working diligently. There's a lot of people out there that's working very hard. You heard about the Community Resource Center. Please take advantage of that, the public, the community. There's resources there for you. You saw me on my phone just now, and we just got approved. We put an application in over a week ago through Kentucky State Emergency Management for the state business or the Small Business Association to come in, and I just got that approval. So they'll be embedded into our Community Resource Center probably by the end of the week. More to come on that. So that's a big plus, again, for our businesses to come in and get potential resources and advice on what they should do in their future as well. So, like I said, just know we'll be giving weekly updates or any other, anything else in between there that may pop up on the site that could cause us problems or cause the public problems. But we don't anticipate anything outside of that site taking place that could cause anywhere else to have to be affected. So, like I said, we are working hard. The folks behind me and their teams are working very hard. Contractors, there's still public safety agencies that are on site. We still have representatives on site. So. We will do that until this is over with and we can get all the businesses back in their locations. Thank you.
Okay, we're listening to that press conference taking place in Louisville, Kentucky, after that UPS plane crash killed 14 people there in the city. You can hear the plans they have moving forward, not only to remember those involved, but also people who are impacted in various ways in that community. Surely there'll be more information coming out of this press conference. At the bottom there, we are continuing to wait on the House Democrats to hold the press conference as we're still waiting on that key vote that is set to take place place today on forcing the Justice Department to release those files in the Jeffrey Epstein case. That could be happening anytime between 2 o'clock and 8 p.m. tonight. We are waiting on that. Maybe you will be able to see more action during our next Live Impact news stream from 1 until 3 p.m. But for right now, we do want to end this particular stream back out there in Virginia Beach with our Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive that is taking place today all the way through 6 p.m. You can see people are out there at the Pembroke Square parking lot there next to the Walgreens. If you are able, you can drive by and drop off canned goods, non-perishable food items, and other things that will be able to go towards people who just need a little bit more support, little extra support this holiday season. And if you are not able to physically make it there, no worries. You can use this QR code that we have popped up on your screen. Simply take a picture of that, scan it, and you can donate online. This is in a partnership with Odyssey, our partners for this Neighbors Helping Neighbors food drive, and we also are working with the food bank as well to support people. You can see some of our partner affiliates there with their tents, etc., in that area. And then several members of 13 News Now. Ashley Smith has been out there throughout the day. Craig Moeller out there. Jemiah Beatty. Later, I do believe that Janet Roach and Chief Meteorologist Tim Pendages, all of them are going to be out there as we are trying to help our neighbors here who are just hitting a tough time ahead of the holidays. Definitely this holiday season, as you see someone driving up right now to drop off some non-perishable food items and other things that can go towards people in our community. So again, we're going to have even more of that. You're going to hear from Ashley. I believe you're going to hear from Jemiah and others as we get ready now for 13 News Now at noon on air. You'll see it here on 13 News Now Plus and also over the air on our broadcast. If you've been watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Remember, though, you can download 13 News Now Plus. That's our streaming app. And you'll be able to not only see this, but other broadcast, news, weather, all kinds of content there. So go ahead and download 13 News Now Plus for your streaming services. Again, on behalf of myself, Eugene Daniel, and producer Sarah Calloway, thank you so much for joining us. This team here will be right back here on Live Impact News tomorrow at 10 a.m. Another team will be here from 1 until 3. But up next, here's 13 News Now at noon with Marta Berkland.